Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. This is Q&A Friday. I'm going to do a jingle, and I've been saying that for about 10 years, but I really do want to do a jingle for this, but I can't be bothered, really. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. I'm here with Vinny in the background. Oh, that was a weird noise my mouth just made. And in this recording, I answer a bunch of questions that have been left on my Facebook group, which is called Jason Newland's Boring Group. And I've actually had some new members joined very recently. Oh, my laptop's wobbly. Let's have a look. The thing is, so I did have 214 members about 3 hours ago, and now it's 213, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Never mind, hey. But there's also other people that have joined but they're not joined. They're kind of just like viewing, because I must have sent out a invite or something years ago or whatever, maybe, I don't know, whenever. And so they're on the page, but they're not actually joined officially. But they are part of the members. But the new people that have actually joined is Greg. Welcome, Greg. Reveal. It's Reveille. So I'm guessing it's Revel, Reveille, Reveal, Reveille. Yeah, I can't think of any other. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's. But welcome, Jade or Jade. Who else? Meef? No. Sarah. I'm just looking at the people that have actually joined, like, other than, but also welcome to those that are like Jaffe or Jaff, Miriano, Ashutosh, Praveen, Meef, Amara, Mohammed, Gabrielle, Alija, Pedro, Randy, John, Orhan, Rano, Utab, Lebien, Sakir, Erica, Emerson. So yeah, welcome to those people as well. Welcome to everybody. I don't know who's left though, unless Facebook can't count, or unless of course I just got too excited and I decided to add a numero on the end. So maybe it was never more than 213. But at the moment it's 213 because I'm pretty sure 1, 2. I'm pretty sure I've had 3 people join in the last 2 days. Greg and Reveal. In fact, let's have a little look. Come on, let's have a little look, because it would be on there. It'd be on there, so maybe that person's just joined and then left. Greg, so Reveal. Let's see who else. Sarah. No, Sarah, so that was Tuesday. Okay. No, not Tuesday. 25th of March. the 4th of April now. Rich, that was a few weeks. Oh, maybe I'm just imagining things. Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, I've also got a YouTube channel, which is groovy. Well, it's alright, I suppose. That subscribers are gently going up. It's 1,548 now. And I did another, this will be on YouTube probably by tomorrow morning, as well as being on the podcasts. And I am in the middle of a new project that I'm putting together, but I'll tell you about it another time, because it's going to take me quite some time to get it all sorted. It's something I've already kind of pretty much got built, but I'm going to work on it first, and then I've got it's a new website, and I'll let you know about it. So, when the time comes. When the time comes. And that's it. It's really weird. You see, I've got this. I'm moving the laptop, but it's for some reason. Because I've got two desks together, and one's higher up than the other, so it's wobbling. Oh, that's better. It's lopsided, but at least it's not wobbling. I'm talking about the laptop. So today, I've not really done much. Took him out twice. It's been a lovely day, very sunny. I actually went out the second time with my hat on, and I took it off. Now that is the most exciting story you're going to hear from me today. In case you were thinking that was boring, no, that was actually an exciting story. Got boxing on over the weekend, so that's good. What I'm planning to do, just to give me something to look forward to, I'm going to look through the schedule of boxing that's coming up over the next, 3 months, and just stick them all on my wall so I know what to remember to look forward to. Because I've got boxing tomorrow night, got boxing Sunday morning as well, which is an American, but tomorrow night it's Joe Joyce is fighting. He's fighting Hergovich. So, and that's, I don't know where it's at, the Copper, but it's somewhere anyway in London, I think. So I'll be watching that. And then we've got quite a few fights coming up, but I'll discuss that another time. Which makes me think, maybe. It's weird, this morning. I don't know if he woke me up. Something woke me up. I think he woke me up. About 2 o'clock. So I get up out of bed. Because I spent a fair bit of time in bed yesterday, and I wasn't really feeling it, sort of going back to bed. It wasn't like that I couldn't go back to sleep, because I have no trouble getting to sleep generally. But I just thought, I was hungry. I thought, I'll have my breakfast. Now, getting up early, I'm normally up about 4 anyway, so 2 o'clock's not really like super early. But come the weekend, it's quite handy to be getting up at 2 sometimes, because then I can watch the boxing in America. I can't actually, I'm not in America, but I mean I can watch it on TV because it's live in America, which means their evening is our early morning, because we're like 6 hours difference or something like that, depending on what part of America it is. Yeah. So I've got 7 comments. So I posted, "Hi, any questions for this week's Q&A Friday? Kiss, kiss, kiss." So I've had 7 responses. So also let you know there's there is some background sound in the garden, but can't really moan about people wanting to be outside when it's nice weather, especially being stuck indoors, although that doesn't stop the noisy people. But you know, in the winter's it definitely gets in the way of some people being in the garden, so can't begrudge that. It is a lovely day. The thing is with me, because I've got pink skin, I'm not really sitting in the sun type of person. Never have been, never will be. I can sit in the shade, but then I can do that indoors. You know, I do go out. I mean, I don't sit in the sun. You know, if I was gonna say, if I sit on a bench or something, I try and make sure I'm out of the sun, because I burn. Not badly burn, because I don't. I mean, last time I don't know if it's badly burned, but blimey, about 20 years ago, I visited my dad. It might not have been 20 years ago. It might have been 15, 16 years ago. But I visited my dad on his birthday, which was Easter weekend, which it is this year as well. And so I was staying over with him over the... was I? Blimey, I was, yeah. I wonder how I got home. Mind you, I only lived in... I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, I was there, and I remember I probably didn't stay there. I probably just went there for the day on a Saturday. But I got there early. Or maybe I got there Friday evening and stayed over and then left Saturday, because... But then Friday is Good Friday. It's the bank holiday as well. But Sunday and Monday are bank holiday, so there'd be no buses probably. I guess that's not really that important. Yeah, I was there. I was definitely there. And he lives near a beach. So I go for a walk and go and sit on a beach, and I'm reading a book. I don't know what the book was. Again, probably not that important or relevant to the story, but I was reading a book on the beach, and it was really sunny. Lovely, lovely day. But didn't think anything of it, because it's April. Or it was the end of March. End of March, beginning of April time. Because Easter's kind of fluctuates a bit. No, it would have been April, because his birthday is always on the same date. So yeah, April then. Because I never visit Easter for Easter. It's only ever... We don't really celebrate Easter. Like kind of get together. As a family, we try and get together before Christmas or something. But we don't, yeah. Well, at least I'm not invited. I mean, maybe the closer family do, the ones that he's got near him. Maybe I don't know. Never asked. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit like, you know, you meet someone in a public toilet, they're standing next to you at the urinal. You might like look at each other, in the eyes, of course. Might have a little chat, but then you go on your own way. You don't really know what they're going to do for the rest of the day, or that's it. You know, you don't shake hands with them, but you just like, and that's it. It's a little bit like that with my family. I don't really know what they do when I'm not there. So my family are like a random man in a public toilet. That's not a good analogy, is it? No, not really. One day I'll think about what I'm saying before I say it. but that day is not today. So I've got some. Oh yeah, I got sunburn. That's the story. I got sunburn. So I'm sitting on the beach, completely oblivious to the fact that I was being fried. But I didn't just get sunburn. I got sunstroke, and I don't think I've had sunstroke probably since I was a kid. It was horrible, very horrible. But so I had to sort of lay down and recover when I got back to his house. I mean, it wasn't like serious or anything, but I guess I was dehydrated or whatever. But wow. And I think that's the last time I ever sat in the sun. I did sit in the sun on the same beach when I was about 17 or 18, reading, or did I lay down on the beach? And I was reading Sigmund Freud's life story. Hey, blimey. That was a bit of a heavy book to be reading at that age. I'm not sure if I understood much of it, but it felt nice. Just sometimes it's just sometimes nice to just be holding something in my hand and to be able to walk through the street proud. Hopefully people will be impressed. Oh, he's an intellectual. Actually, no one would have done that because they probably knew me in that town. No one would have ever been said, no, they wouldn't have been saying that about me. Oh, we should wear trousers. That's probably what they would have been saying. So I'm going to go through the questions. There was the only time I never sunburned ever, like proper sunburn, when I was out in the sun, was when I was in the Alps in France. For some reason, I mean, I used to think I was French, but clearly I'm not. Well, I might be, because I'm 48% Irish, but I think the other part is kind of Anglo-European, so it'd be a mixture, wouldn't it, I suppose? I mean, this country was invaded by so many different countries over the years. The Romans, the Normans, the Saxons, the French, the Germans, or whatever, I don't know, just all kinds of different people all from all around the world. And then Aborigines, I think. Chinese invaded us. Australia, they invaded. So we've been in the rule of lots of different countries over the years. I made a lot of that up because I'm not really sure, because I didn't actually listen to anything I learned in history. I remember something about Anglo-Saxons, Romans, Normans, Vikings, but Vikings are the Normans, aren't they? It just makes me laugh. Normans. What are you? I'm a Norman. Oh, that's a nice name. Norman. What's your friend's name? He's a Norman as well. Doesn't that get confusing? So, yeah, I did get a little bit burnt when I was first out there, but then it turned into a tan. And that is the only time ever in my life that I've really had a tan. I got a little bit brown on my arms in the summer because I wear short sleeved shirts and stuff all year round, well, during the summer days. So I do get some sun on my arms. So my arms don't generally burn because they're used to being in the sun, like it during that period. And I do catch the sun I do catch it on my face, but I don't purposely like try and get any kind of a tan, because it just doesn't work. So Michelle has the first question. I listen through your website can you track how many people listen there like you do on YouTube? Let me have a quick drink. Well, first of all, Michelle, thank you for your question. And thank you for listening on my website, because that's what it's there for. I know it's not everyone's first place to go, but the good thing about the website is you've always got access to my new recordings. And when you go there, you've not got anything else, no one else's recordings, no other podcasts, just me. And you can find the very latest that I've made. So yesterday's recordings are on there, 6 versions, and you play them. You can download them for free. You can speed them up or slow them down, rewind a little bit, fast forward 30 seconds, rewind 10 seconds. Yeah, it tells you how long the recording is, also tells you how large the recording is, or the size. So if you was going to download the beep 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 beep, if you're going to download the one with no music, just the standard recording, 1 hour 16 minutes 58 seconds, and it's 32.23 megabytes, which would take about 5 to 10 seconds to download, if that. It's very quick to download. And should we check? Should we test? Let's download it, see how long it takes. Right, here we go. Right, it's downloading. Okay, it brings up a page. Okay, stop that, it's talking to me. It brings up a page, and then you can just click download on the right thing. Download. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 5 or 6 seconds. So that's pretty cool. Bam, bam, bam. In fact, if you go open pro. So, in answer to your question, yes. So what I can do is, if I go to the website that I have connected, go to the podcast rather, connected to the website, which is the Hypnosis of Sleeping Deeply, all I do is go to podcast statistics, and I can see how. So for this podcast, for the last 30 days, I've had 17,828 downloads for that podcast. But I do have other podcasts as well. But that's where I put all the new stuff. So I can see in there what's the most popular recording for those 30 days. And it is The Woman's Toilet, or The Women's Toilet. Let Me Bore You to Sleep, 1311, 25th of March 2025. And the second most popular is The Most Relaxing ASMR YouTube Video. And third most popular, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, 21st of March. And then the one after that, 28th of March, and then not the stats, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, 1308, 20th of March. Right, so I won't go any further than that, but if I look at the stats, the actual stats, as far as I can look at listeners, you've got downloads, then you've got listeners. Never really understood that one, so I'll skip that one. You got likes, never have a like, never have not even one like on the podcasts. On the Spreaker platform, so I don't know why that is. You've got geolocation, which will say 53.45% from the United States, United Kingdom 19.37%, Australia 7.35%, Canada 4.66%, Ireland 1.64, Denmark 1.42, Turkey 1.32, Kuwait 0.88, the Netherlands 0.85. So that's kind of the order of things there. The top downloads, I said United States 9,529, United Kingdom 3,453, Australia 1,310. That just for that one podcast. And then I can look at sources. Well, I can look at devices actually. 98.68% is from a phone. Can you hear that? I don't know what they're doing there. A bit of banging going on in the garden. Not the good kind. So I think it's just like a need to make noise. I don't know, maybe it's therapeutic. It might be, mightn't it? I should look into that. Tablet is 0.58, desktop. Yeah, so phone, pretty much all around the mobile phone is, or smartphone I guess, is predominantly the place where my listeners anyway listen to the podcasts. And that's the only place I would listen to a podcast as well, generally, on the phone. So if I listen on a website, unless I'm using YouTube, then I use that either on the phone, if it's audio that I'm really listening to, or I might watch it on the TV. So let's have a look. Sources. Is that the one I'm going to look at? Yeah, right. So this is in the last 30 days. 91.5%. I could have just said yes, couldn't I? That is probably the answer. But I'm giving a long version, I suppose. A more thorough version. 91.56% is Apple Podcasts. 2.24% is Podcast Addict. And then my website, jasonnewland.com, is 1.53%. And so it's got there, so for the last 30 days, 273 downloads on my website. But Apple Podcasts, 16,324. Podcast Addict, 400. And then if you go down, Podbean, 119. You've got generic Android app, 90. Excuse me, 90 for iHeartRadio. Audible, 79. Spotify, 73. Spreaker, 35. So, even though it's hosted on Spreaker, I don't get many people go to Spreaker to listen. Amazon Music, 25. VLC, because I use Amazon Music. Overcast, 17. Antenna Pod, 10. Pocket Casts, 8. Castbox, 4. Blimey, that's pretty drivel, really, isn't it? But oh well. Never mind. So, this is a relatively recent podcast. I did delete quite a lot of stuff from this podcast. So there's 982 listenable episodes. That includes the various versions of the recording, and a total of 83,661 total downloads. This will be changing in the next month or two when I make those new changes. But yeah, so I can see. So overall, if I just go to the overall statistics, and I look in for the last 12 months sources, bearing in mind, I mean, it probably doesn't need to be the last 3 months, probably should we say last month altogether. 357 plays or downloads on my website, all altogether on the website, from Spreaker, from the different podcasts. But if I go back, and there's 30,343, so altogether it's 34,603 last month. But then if I go to the last 12 months, excuse me, really it'll only be like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably the last 3 months really, but 1,360 on my website. But then Spotify 1,640, and Apple Podcasts 159,923. So it's, yeah. But then I did delete a fair bit of stuff from there, so I'm not sure. So yeah, I can't really see necessarily where people are coming from to my website. I mean, I do have the stats on my website, so if I look at that, let's have a look. If I come off the website, go into the back end, go into the back door, as they say, and look at the analytics. So I can see how many visitors I've had. I can see total visits, unique visitors, and then total page views, and then visit durations on average. And I can see also which countries predominantly. So United States, then United Kingdom, then Australia. This is today. But if I go back to, blimey, all time, I don't know what all time goes back to. What date does that go back to? All right. So, So, as I was talking, I had a knock at the door. The front door. I don't have a back door. So, it was my neighbour asking me if I wanted to see his kitchen, which under normal circumstances I would find a bit weird. But he's in the middle of having a new kitchen put in. So I go in there, so okay, fair enough. I had a look and I thought, well, what have they done? It looks the same as yesterday. And he said, no. I said, yeah. He said, no. I said, what have they done then? He said they've taken all the newspaper, took all the wallpaper off. And the I suppose the point the reason I didn't realise it is because I don't know anyone who's had wallpaper in their kitchen. I mean, he's had it in there, so been in there since 1998. But none of the other flats have got wallpaper in the kitchen, so he must have. Maybe it had it on there. Maybe he put it up himself. So that has thrown me off. Where was I? So then I decided, you know what? It's nearly 6 o'clock. I better take Viddy out for a walk. So I did. And he pulled me all the way into the park. And his friend Archie was in there. And he pulls me and he keeps pulling me, and I'm I should finish that sentence. I'm semi-walking, semi-running, semi-walking, kind of like a fast walk. But just like, I'm thinking, okay, he wants to. I could see where he was going. He knew Archie was there from quite a distance. He just followed the trail, I suppose, of the smell or whatever. When we get there, Archie's not interested. He just wanders off. No interest to see each other. He wasn't interested in seeing Archie. He wanted to see Archie. Archie didn't seem to care about seeing him. And after about a minute of them being together, they just went on and did their own thing. It's almost they like being together, but they don't necessarily need to be together. It was, I don't know, it's quite nice, I suppose. Archie was off the lead. Vinny can't be, unfortunately. It's a bit stuffy in this room, but I can't open the window because of the sounds. So I'm answering Michelle's question about the stats. Can I find out how many people, what downloads and stuff, like I do on YouTube? So yeah, I can, but it's not a lot. I just see, if bear in mind, I make podcasts. If I decide to listen to one of my recordings, which I do sometimes, I just want to test it out, and I lay down, never listen. I always use my website. It's just easier. I can find the exact recording, choose which one, easy to navigate, and then just press play. It's just, I just find it easy to use. But it's all just down to what your preference is, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking about maybe getting an app for the Let Me Boy to Sleep, because I used to have an app, if anyone remembers, a long time ago. Used to have an app, and I don't even remember what happened to it. I think it was part of Spreaker, because I did find an app the other day. I went on to ChatGPT and asked them where the best place is to get a to try and do an app from my podcast, or from my website rather. And I did a little bit of research, and I found React Native seemed to be a good one, because they don't, from the looks of it, they don't even charge until you start making money on the app. So there would be a payment for the app. It wouldn't be much, but they allow you up to something like, I'll tell you in a sec if I can actually. I forgot to save it. React. Okay, there's a website. It's React Native. That's it. reactnative.dev. It's a JavaScript library for building apps for Android. The thing is, it's okay, but there's another way of using it. Okay. Oh, okay, right. React Native. Course. I found something yesterday and it's not coming up. So this is React Native, but this is like how to do the app, and it's learning code and stuff, which I don't want to do. Not really. But there's another website which uses React Native. It is Coursera React Data. Oh, Freelancer React Native. Is it? That's really weird, because it came up yesterday, but that ain't coming up today for some reason. Freelancer, find your perfect React native developer. Showcased. Okay, I'm going to just give that one up because I'm not finding it. Flutter. Maybe that's what it's called. React Native pricing. So let's have a look. Mobile app developers Bark, Expo, Pro Coders, Udemy. Okay, Jep. Maybe that isn't. Maybe it was Bark. Let's have a look. No, it's asking to log in. This one allowed. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of websites that literally. I mean, don't force you to log in, but you can't do anything unless you log in, including seeing how much pricing is. And sometimes they won't even tell you pricing. Ask us for pricing. We'll tell you about pricing if you just submit this form and get back. We'll get back to you. We'll contact you when's a good time. Blah 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 blah. No, just put pricing. That's it. So the pricing, for the moment you sign up, we'll send you leads for free. I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to get rid of that. That's no good. How annoying. Build a native app. Wrap your site in WebView. Use a progressive web app. So, overview. React Native. Choose a frame. React Native. Fetch a... Damn it, that's really, really annoying. Native app, hybrid app. I literally was on it yesterday. Never mind. That's annoying. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing. So, Michelle. Jackie answered. Oh, she answered a question. It's not a question. She commented on Michelle. I've never understood how people don't use their podcast app above other sites. I guess just it depends on the person, doesn't it? I mean, I quite like YouTube. Sometimes, like for audiobooks. So you got Audible, but they charge. But YouTube, you can find quite a few audiobooks on YouTube, and it's free to listen to it. So yeah, I quite like that. For podcasts, it all depends. I mean, a lot of podcasts now are almost like videos, and I know you can get that on the podcast apps as well. But I think when it comes to watching a video, I don't want to do that on an app. The screen's not big enough for me personally on a phone. I need it on a TV. If I'm going to watch anything of any length, I mean, if it's only like a few seconds long, I can manage it on the screen. But nothing long. I mean, I could, I suppose, transfer the screen to the TV, but I might as well just watch it on TV to start with. With the podcasting, yeah, I probably still prefer to listen on the TV. I'm just one of them, just easier for me to navigate because I can see the text. On the phone, it's a little. I find it a little bit hard to navigate because of my eyesight, maybe. And the phones are not big. Well, my phone's quite small. Although I think my brother's got one of those ones that you can fold. It's like, wow, weird. I've only ever seen him like in adverts and stuff. And I think it's Android. He loves Android, doesn't? He's not into Apple. And yeah, can fold it in half. So when you do open it up, it's quite a big screen. Like, wow. Yeah, it's just everyone's different, isn't it? We're all different. We all like different things. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think everyone should just use my website. It's a good place because no one's going to probably find me on the website, so they're going to come across it on maybe podcasts and stuff. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Whatever is more suitable for you is the best thing. That's ultimately that's the truth, isn't it? Really, whatever suits each individual person. I'm just grateful for anyone listening, wherever you listen. Thank you. Whether it's in a seashell, on a seashore, I don't know. It's just like, if you just through someone's letterbox, whatever. So it's good. Thank you. Emil asks me, if you had the opportunity to live wherever you wanted, which country would you choose? I think my tummy is hungry. I don't know, really, because it changes that a lot. I mean, all my answers will change depending on what day it is, really. But I like the idea of different countries being around the corner. So different parts of different countries. So it'd be nice if I could just go to the end of the street and Thailand was there. A part of Thailand that I liked. Or go down the end of the street and wherever I want is there. So, I know this isn't really a good answer, but so if I decided I wanted to go to New York, I've never been, hopefully one day, maybe one day, I'll just go to the end of the street and that would be New York, Times Square, or London, Trafalgar Square, or wherever. So just like a magical, a bit like Narnia's coat cupboard, except I can choose where I go. It just doesn't keep going to Narnia. It's like, oh, Narnia again, more snow. So yeah, I haven't been to enough places to choose a place to live. In a way, I'd like to revisit Bulgaria because I like that. I like the people there. I like the people. Thailand, Spain. I wasn't there long enough to really get to know anyone because I was there just for the afternoon. France, nobody spoke to me. I did try a conversation a couple of times, but when I was there, 1989, in France. So I've been to Spain for the afternoon, then I went to France for about a week, or maybe 5 days. And yeah, I was with someone that was making an effort to speak French. And I made no effort because I didn't really know much French other than just under 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 8, 9, 10. And oui, non, pardon, mademoiselle, Excusez-moi. What other ones was there? That's it, I think. I think that's all the French I knew. Nerf. I know that's a number, isn't it? Rhymes with Smurf. I never got to. My brother used to count up to 20 for some reason. What other words are there in French? I know there's lots of other words. I realise it's a silly question, but just trying to think if I know any. But I knew those, but a lot of that was just from probably the Pink Panther movie. Parlez-vous français? I don't know what it means. Do you? I think it's do you speak English? I think parlez-vous français? Do you speak English? So, and English is anglais. Yeah. French is. And Paris is Paris. Or Paris. Paris is Paris, isn't it? Paris. Yeah, so I didn't really. Because I don't really I didn't really make any effort to speak the language, but I didn't know I was going there until I went there. It's not like it was a holiday. My landlord was kicking me out of the house, or out of the flat, for a week because he was going on holiday. Because I had this job looking after their kid. But the kid went on a holiday for the summer. I was still staying there during the summer, but they didn't trust me to leave me there on my own for some reason. So I was going to make my way up to Kent to visit my first stepmum. So they would drop me off in Kent because they were going that way. And I was going to basically just hopefully go and visit her or camp or something. I was basically homeless for a week. I had to do something. But on the way, we picked up a hitchhiker. And I ended up going to France with him. So yeah, just how it worked out. It was weird. It's a weird trip. I'll talk about it one day. Not weird, not in a weird way, just in a weird way. And he kept talking to me. So I was in the back of the car. He was in the back of the car. Why they picked up a hitchhiker? Because I wouldn't have done that. I mean, bearing in mind I was, blimey, how old was I? Yeah, I just turned 18. No, I was getting on to 19, so I was 18 and a half. And he just kept talking to me. He's like, why are you talking to me? It's for whatever reason, that's how I was. I mean, I'm not that much different now, I guess, but just kept talking like, I don't know you. I don't know why you're talking. Why? Why are you asking me questions? What possible? Why? In the end, he ended up being my best friend for 1989, 99, 2009. So for about 25 years, he was my bestest friend, pretty much. For that 25 years, bit of a mentor as well, a mentor, and at the beginning, because he used to, he gave me a list of books to read and stuff like that, and yeah, I kind of looked up to him for a while. It's almost like I was a kid, he was an adult, but as I got older, we were both adults. Even though I was an adult, but, you know, mentally I probably wasn't. Maybe I never have been. Why am I talking about that? If I had the opportunity to live wherever I wanted, which country would I choose? I don't feel that I've tested enough countries. There might be somewhere out there that's really nice that I could go to and just think, maybe go on holiday and think to myself, I want to stay here. I want to live the rest of my life here. That would be amazing. But I've never been anywhere that I would want to spend. Yeah, I've always been quite happy to get away from wherever I was. So there's nowhere, I don't think I've ever been. Even Bulgaria, I liked it, but I was in a hotel, so I didn't really get to see what the place was like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's a lot to be grateful for from my perspective living here in this country. I mean, I got a council flat. I've got enough to eat, got enough to get by. You know, things are not. We've got a national health service, and you know, things are not. It's not the worst place to live. But it's not exotic. But do I want to live somewhere exotic? I don't know. So I can't really be in the sun. Not really. I can live somewhere where there's sun. I mean, there's sun everywhere, isn't there, technically? But it's always sunny somewhere. But I can't. The sun's like an old man hiding in a bush farting. There's always one somewhere. There's always. That's what my dad always used to say. So I don't know. I like the idea, maybe. I know it's a fantasy, but you see these like Canadian towns or maybe American towns that are just, everyone knows each other and it's a really nice atmosphere, and they have Groundhog Day, you know, that kind of sort of situation, or It's a Wonderful Life where everyone knows each other. That kind of, I don't know if that exists anymore. I don't know if it ever did exist. I've never experienced that in this country. Although I have lived in a small town when I was like at school, from the age of 7 to... That's it, Vinny. Have a nice good old drink. That's a thirsty little puppy there, isn't it? I think the answer is I'm not sure. I'd like to travel around. Maybe... I mean, there's a part of me who would kind of like to live in a big mansion and never go out. But that probably wouldn't be healthy, would it? It'd be... I feel I'd quite like to... I don't know, because I'm getting older now and kind of... I don't know what the options are. If I could just live anywhere. When I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I would have answered that question. And basically, if you'd have offered me somewhere to go, I'd have gone. That's how much I didn't like where I was. And I'd say it's probably the same right up to last week. Before I got this flat, there's more to lose now. Before, I was just renting a room, didn't matter. You know, just I could just move somewhere else. Never really, apart from when I was a counsellor, I didn't have any job that was really worth anything. It was that I felt was that where I was actually contributing. That was the only job that I had that I felt I was actually doing something useful. I'm sure it's not the case, because, you know, every job is useful, especially if it's towards society, and it doesn't matter what it is, it's all useful stuff. But it's the only one where I kind of felt like I was doing something worthwhile. So yeah, that's not really answered your question very well, is it? I'm not sure. I have to get back to that one. Jenny asks, "Dear Jason, what keeps you grounded?" Not sure if I am, to be honest. I think I like to close my eyes and just relax. I think relaxing does it. If that's what you mean by grounded, by sort of, I mean, there's different versions of what grounded could mean, isn't there? Like, you know, if someone's really successful and what keeps them grounded, it could be, well, revisiting where I used to live to remind me of where I came from. You know, I mean, that could be like a version of what keeps you grounded. Or it could just be, if you ask a kid that, it say, well, I keep stealing things, I keep getting grounded. But from a brain perspective, a calmness, because of a lot of issues in the past, the anxiety and stuff that I had, stress that I used to have. Well, I'm not saying that it's gone, but I'm better able to. There's certain things I know I need to do, and sometimes it is a case of just going to bed, having to lay down, listening to an audio book, or listening to I listened to a YouTube video earlier, Napoleon Hill, and he was just talking about, I forget what it was, I can tell you because it's still on here, I think. Wait a minute, what was I listening to? I listened to it twice today already. It is Napoleon Hill, Focus on Yourself, Not Others. And Focus on Yourself, Not Others. Is that the one? I don't know if that's the one I listened to. But it's he did a lot of audios. He did the book Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the most famous self-help books in the world. And he spent about 20 odd years studying super successful people from all over. I don't know if it was the world or just America. And then at the end of it, he was looking for, I guess, commonalities between those people. What was that thing that everyone had in common? All these 200 odd people that he interviewed. It might have been 500 people, but he'd go and stay with them. He'd go and spend time with the people. And he was Andrew Carnegie, who was super rich. He asked Napoleon Hill, offered him to do it, and to then write a book at the end of it. But he wouldn't pay him anything. But he would give introductions. So he would send an introduction letter to all his people that he knew personally. He would send Napoleon Hill to interview them. So that was an opener, because, you know, Andrew Carnegie at the time was, I guess, a bit like Bill Gates or Elon Musk, or that kind of level of rich, very rich. Yeah, and this is a long time ago. This is 1912 or 13 or 14, something like that. So I think it was even before the First World War. Blimey. So I was listening to that. I don't know why. Why am I talking about that for? Oh yeah, things like that get me grounded, keep me grounded. Just reminds me, kind of reminds me what I'm doing. And sometimes I like to, when I take him out, I like to just do meditation walking, or walking meditation. So I walk slowly. He'll just be sniffing the grass and stuff, and I quite like that because I get in touch with the ground through my feet. I've been doing that for decades, and just the slow movement of my body, slow movement of my hands, breathing slows down. I guess my heart rate slows down. Blood pressure probably goes down. So it's good all round. The thoughts slow down, so it's... I quite like that. And I think sometimes things that get me grounded, or again, I'm not quite sure, but when I get feedback, positive feedback, that kind of reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Rich asks, if God is all powerful, can he make a rock so heavy even he can't lift it? I give all credit to George Carlin. I don't know. I used to love George Carlin. It's not really a question I can really answer, is it? But George Carlin. I really got into George Carlin in my early 20s. I'm trying to think. He did quite a few albums. One was called Class Clown. The other one was it Radio FM or something? George Carlin, let's have a look. I like the ones that were naughty, the explicit albums, which he did in the 70s, I think. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at his albums, filmography, television, and then discography. Blimey. 1963. These were his records. So 1963, Burns and Carlin at the Playboy Club tonight. So he did a thing with, I think it's George Burns. See, he did something with, he did a double act. But anyway, these were his disc. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So he's got a lot of albums. Takeoffs and put-ons. I don't remember that. The first one I remember listening to, FM AM. That's what I'm thinking, Radio FM. So FM AM, or FM and AM. Class Clown, 1972. Occupation Fool, 73. I don't remember that one. Or Toledo Window Box. On the Road, An Evening with Wally Londo. I don't remember that. 1981, A Place for My Stuff. I remember that one. And 1986, Playing with Your Head. I remember that one as well. So I did have that. I had those albums. So I'd say probably FMAM, Class Clown, A Place for My Stuff, and Playing with Your Head. Those were the albums that I had. but I probably, maybe, possibly had the other ones as well. Occupation Fool, possibly I had that as well. I just don't remember. I wonder if there's an image of it. So I remember Class Clown. I remember the image. Yeah, that's it. FMAM. I remember that one. Yeah, sitting on a stool. Occupation Fool. No. Maybe. On the Road. Maybe. A Place for My Stuff. Okay. Playing with Your Head. Oh, it was his 11th album and 5th HBO special. See, I was a big fan of George Carlin. In the early days, well, in my early days, early 90s, I didn't have access to seeing what he looked like or seeing him in concert, because although I had quite a lot of which is weird really, but I had quite a lot of albums, like videos and stuff at one point, or in the like late 80s, of comedians. I started collecting comedians on video probably about 1988. Loads and loads. Like Robin, the ones that are kind of obvious, like at the time, Robin Williams, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy, Bill Cosby, Emo Phillips, Robert Townsend. Trying to think who else there was. Richard Pryor, of course. Blimey, I've got to forget Richard Pryor. And then a little bit later on, like 1990, I discovered some of the Americans. So I discovered George Carlin, I discovered Andrew Dice Clay, I discovered Sam Kinison, and yeah, I discovered some of the others. So I already knew about like Rodney Dangerfield, because he was already famous anyway for being in movies and stuff, Caddyshack and stuff like that. Back to School, wasn't it? Back to School, that was a late 80s or middle 80s film. And I used to watch stand-up comedy. We never had, in this country, there wasn't a lot on as far as like adult comedy that was, because the new alternative comedy kind of hit around, well, in the clubs it started like late 70s, but it didn't really reach TV until middle 80s, 86, 87, maybe 85, I don't know, I'm trying to think. But we used to have a Friday Night Live, but there was a few other shows that came along, and we had sort of, I mean, Jo Brand is pretty much, she was the first female, alternative comedian I ever saw on TV. I mean, you had Victoria Wood, but it wasn't so much, she was like a different, like she was, I mean this as a compliment really, she didn't fit into a category. She was like Peter Kay. She doesn't fit into a category of being mainstream or alternative or anything. She had her own category, Victoria Wood. And Peter Kay has his own category as a comedian. And I think some comedians are just, they don't fit anymore into they can't say, well, that's, anyway, you can't really say alternative comedy if you think that it's been around for 40 years. It's not really alternative anymore, is it? It's, yeah. I didn't get to see a lot of American comedians in the 80s. Yeah, I didn't get. I got to see some. Whose Line Is It? Is it Whose Line Is It? That used to be on, so there'd be some American comedians on there, but that wasn't like stand up, was it? That was improv. I did improv once. Went to there was someone, Mandy Knight, her name was, and she'd only just started on the circuit, and she was really good. She was in a double act, and she was winning competitions and stuff, so she's very good. And I went along to her. I got on really well with her, so I went along to her improv class on a Saturday afternoon, I think it was. Once or twice, I don't know. And she went on to be one of the top comedians on the circuit in London. Well, in the country for a while. She was big, very big name. Proper headliner. Very funny. Very funny. I don't know what she's doing these days. What was her name? Mandy Knight. Mandy Knight. Let's have a look. Oh, she's still going good. Good. I just haven't seen her. It's because I've not been involved in the comedy circuit for a long time, so I hope I wasn't talking like she doesn't exist anymore. I didn't mean it that way. I just haven't. This is Manford's Comedy Club. Manford's Comedy Club. I didn't know. So that's Jason Mansford. Not Mansford. Manford. Venues. Accrington Stanley Football Club. Alderton. Blimey. So they're everywhere. They're all over the place. I wonder if he does he. So it says book here. Let me have a look. Blimey, it's still running. Sometimes you come across a website that's just, it's not even around anymore. There's just a website still up. Although this does look, it's a really good website. So Jason Manford rather. So he's not MCing, but he's got his name on it. So there's a gig tonight at Matloft the Croft. There's another one, Chorley Theatre. That's tomorrow night. The 11th in Poynton. Wow. I tell you, I'm so out of touch. I don't know any of the names. I'm just looking at these. Do I know anyone? Josh Jones, Barry Dodds. Nope, don't know any of them. Matt Reed, Scott Bennett. I tell you, it's weird. Some of the comedians that started out have retired now. Like in 1991. I mean, it's 35 years, isn't it? 34 years. They've retired. You know, they were in there maybe in their 20s, maybe in their 30s. So now they're like in their 60s and they're done. Just weird. Time, man. Time. Where does it go? Kate Smurthwaite, Adam Staunton. No, I don't know one of these people. I'm sure they don't know me either. Mick Ferry. I've heard of Mick Ferry. I don't know why. Maybe I've seen him on TV. No. I don't know. Marlon Davis. I've heard of Marlon Davis. Marlon Davis is he's not American, is he? He's been around quite a while. Marlon Davis. Yeah, I know. I've seen him. I think I might have seen him at the other comedy club, like 10 years ago or whatever. 9 years ago. Kate McCabe, Kerry Barber, Hittle, and no. No, I don't know why I'm going through this. It's just interesting to me. Oh. What was the question I'm answering? All right, it's about rock. Yeah, George Carlin. So I can't really answer that question because it's a line from George Carlin. But I was a big fan of George. It's I mean, a good thing with YouTube, it's so easy just to see some of his old live specials. And I think what I quite liked about him is, even though technically he wasn't nice on stage, in his later years, he was, his comedy was very bitter, but it was funny, but it was very kind of quite harsh. In his earlier days, he could be harsh but gentle. It's almost like, because he got in trouble for doing the list of words you can't say on TV, and then he just said them out loud. I'm not sure if he got arrested for doing that. This was in the 70s. And he became like, that was one of his things that he became very, very, very famous for. Words you can't say on TV. Things like willy and boobies and stuff, things you can't say. And when he was younger, he was just almost, he'd say stuff, but it was very gentle the way he did it. But as he got older, it wasn't gentle anymore. But it was still really funny. He was probably, for being around so long, because he's not around anymore, but for doing comedy since the 60s, because he had some fame in the 60s as well, and to keep going until 2000, I don't know how long ago he was that he left. George Carlin, he was 71, so 2008. So 1937, 47, 57, 30, 40, 50, 67. Yeah, so in the 60s, he was a very clean, a bit like Richard Pryor, a very clean comedian. Very nice suits. And yeah, he was just, he was, I suppose, like Richard Pryor was doing an impression. I think Richard Pryor says himself that he made some really good money doing an impression of Bill Cosby for about 5 years. Earned good money, was on TV. And, so I think George Carlin was a bit similar to that. He was clean cut. And, yeah. But no one realised what was behind what Richard Pryor and George Carlin, who I would argue, I wouldn't argue, but Richard Pryor is classed as the greatest comedian ever by the comedy world. Maybe not by people that watch comedy and, before people say, wait a minute, no, but I prefer... No, I'm not saying that. Just the comedy world, in the same way as the boxing world classes Muhammad Ali as the greatest boxer ever, it's kind of unanimous. Some won't agree, some will agree. But if you got every single boxer, boxing promoter, anyone that works in the boxing world, they would, and you put it as a vote, Muhammad Ali would come up as the top. And I think in the same way, probably Richard Pryor would come up as the top for comedians. You know, if you don't focus just on your own country or who you personally prefer, because there's comedians I find funnier than Richard Pryor now that I've seen since. But when I first discovered Richard Pryor's stand-up, blew me away in the same way as when I first discovered Sam Kinison. Like, what on earth is going on here? Mind you, I will tell you, the two funniest comedians, or the two comedians that made me laugh the most when I was younger, in my 20s, like that I watched live, because I watched hundreds and hundreds of live shows during the 90s, hundreds and hundreds. I mean, sometimes I'd go to like 4 or 5 a week. So I go through a lot from 91 to 2001. And then I still watched quite a few during the 2000s as well. So two probably most memorable, and it wasn't because they're the best comedians, it's just they were great. There's so many great comedians, but these two just made me laugh probably from start to finish uncontrollably. One was Jerry Sadovich, and it was in a small club. It was full, but it wasn't a big. I think it was even in a bar. There was a bar. He was at the side of the bar, so he wasn't getting paid much. I don't know if I was gigging that night. I don't think I was. I might have just turned up just to see him. And it was so funny. I could not stop laughing. And the other one is Dennis Leary. I saw him. I actually followed him around a little bit when he was in London. I saw him first at the Comedy Store because it was big news he was here. He was in Time Out magazine, like Dennis Leary, the next kind of big thing or whatever. But I had no idea what to expect from him because I'd not seen him. You know, I didn't know what he was going to do, and bearing in mind, I was around comedy all the time at this point, but I hadn't been around it long because this was probably 91, 92 that I saw Dennis Leary. And I went to the Comedy Store to see him. And right from the second he walked on stage, the things he was saying was just hilarious. So I would say those two gigs I went to were the funniest, were the ones that made me laugh the most. And I've laughed a lot, but they were the ones that probably made me it caught me off guard. Now, I knew Jerry Sadovich was funny because I had a video of him when I was a teenager, like in my late teens. He did a video, and I knew he was funny. Obviously, he's a comedian. I knew that he was good, but I didn't. Live was different. Seeing him in person, and yeah. In fact, I think it was the late 90s that I saw him. I think it was about 98, 99, and I went to see him. Because before that, he was like selling out theatres, and you know, he was pretty famous actually, quite famous. Yeah, very famous, in a sense of like, but he was banned from a lot of places. And I mean, he went to the festival, the comedy festival in Canada, Montreal, and someone got off. He said something that didn't go down very well, and someone got on the stage and attacked him, basically punched him. So yeah, I don't know if he got banned from performing there. Yeah. It's not the first time that ever happened. It happens. I've seen a few things in the. Blimey, I've seen some things over the years. So, that's my answer to that question. So thanks for that, Rich, and welcome to the group. Karen asks me, what brings you joy? I don't know. I don't know, really. I don't really think of the word. Yeah, it's not really a word I use. If I think about it, pleasure. It gives me pleasure. I used to like seeing Vinny running around in the park with his friends, but I can't do that anymore. That was one of the main things that I used to get quite a nice buzz from. Used to be lovely, seeing him being all happy and running around and wrestling and biting and playing, with either Noodles or Archie. But unfortunately, he messed that up, so I can't let him off the lead anymore. Before that, it was Andre. Andre made me just laugh. Some of the things he did was ridiculous. It just used to make me because he was so determined to do stuff. So if he wanted to get through a door, he would scratch at the door like non-stop. He would never quit. Never quit. That's my little ferret, Andre. He would never quit. And I quite like that determination. It appeals to me as quite a good trait to have, I think, in some circumstances. Maybe not when you want to get through a door, but I just remember once seeing him waking me up, and he was literally on his back, pushing the wardrobe door open and letting it slam shut. And I'd seen him do it before. I didn't think anything of it. I thought, oh, okay. But I didn't know that he was doing it on purpose to wake me up. Because I'd woken up a few times in the past to him doing that. And I thought, he's just playing. On this occasion, I just laid there and I kept my eyes closed. But, when you can look through your eyelashes with your eyes, he was doing it and he was getting up and looking at me. And at one point, he actually came up right to the bed to look to see if I was awake yet. And then he went back and started pushing the door and slamming the door again. And he kept looking. So I didn't realise he was doing that. So he was purposely trying to wake me up. It's just so funny. The idea that they're just little dumb animals is just ridiculous. They're so clever, bright. It's ridiculous just how some of the things he did. He could always find a way to where he wanted to go. Tenacious, I think, is the correct. I've been called tenacious in the past. I've been called lots of things in the past. But I think tenacious is a word for him. If he wanted to get onto the windowsill, he would find a way onto the windowsill. If you took him the rest of his existence, he would get onto that windowsill, and he would honestly, and he could only need to do something once to learn. So if he made a jump from one table to the other table, if he fell, he'd keep doing it until he succeeded. Once he succeeded, he never fell again. And if he did it the first time and it worked, he never had a problem doing it. Just continued. You know, sometimes he'd be a little bit nervous, so it's the distance, there's up high, but once he completed it, no problems. I mean, what gives me pleasure now? I don't know. I quite like waking up in the morning. Yeah, I quite like having my breakfast, watching a bit of TV. It's, you know, sort of early hours, 4 o'clock or whatever, 5 in the morning. That's quite nice. Probably looking forward to boxing. That's nice. I like seeing, if I get like a message, you know, positive feedback from someone telling me how I've helped. That's a big lift, to know what I'm doing is actually useful. Yeah, not. I suppose it's just more it's quite mundane things. I think right now what would give me joy is to eat something, because I'm hungry. My tummy needs feeding. So thanks for that, Karen. The next one's Claire. The last one's Claire. Have you thought about doing comedy on TikTok? No, not really. I don't think TikTok's really my audience. I did put some. I mean, to be fair, I am on TikTok, and I did. Let me just unplug this. I did add. Where is TikTok? I've not been on there for months. Where is it? TikTok. Which TikTok? Snapchat? TikTok. Okay. I do have some videos on there. So look at my profile. I've got 24 followers. Oh, blimey. I didn't realise. Wow. Okay. So I posted some videos, and I'm getting more videos on there than I am on Instagram. More views, rather. One of those videos, when did I post it? Relax in 12 minutes. So when did I do the relax in 12 minutes? It's not that long ago, is it? Relax in 12 minutes? 12 minutes. Relax in 12 minutes. 25. Oh yeah, 29th of July. But I wouldn't have uploaded it 29th of July. It would have been, I don't know when. Does it tell me? Can it tell me? Relax. Well, it might have been July. So, but it's just weird. I've had 694 video views, which is, I'm guessing, more. Wow. On YouTube, again, I uploaded it the same date. On YouTube, I got 296 views. Oh no, that's in the last 30 days. 29th of July to 2020. No, 296 views altogether, which is not great, but I've actually got 694 for the same video on TikTok. 245 views for another one, 268 for another one. They might have been me singing. So what I do try and do is, I've uploaded a few different videos on there, but Instagram is the one that I was focusing a bit more on, because but even there, I put probably too many on. So So I put one in a couple of weeks ago, it's 157 views, 134 for another one. But some of the others are like 24, 19, 16. So I guess over time a few views will add up and that, but I was just trying to, when I started, I think probably in the summer, I started looking at Instagram and TikTok in a way to maybe just reach a different audience with the hypnosis stuff that I do, or with the Let Me Bore You to Sleep recordings. But I wouldn't do anything different from what I'm already doing, in a sense of I want what I do to be useful, to be helpful, whether it's helping someone to relax, helping someone to fall asleep, helping to reduce chronic pain, or, you know, being company, being just a friendly voice maybe. So that's also really important as well. I've been told, people have told me over the years. So I think, I quite like the idea of maybe trying to go through some of the recordings and finding the best bits, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see. That it's such a huge task. I mean, not, I was going to say not finding the best bits, but maybe, yeah. I mean, out of like, what, 1,300 recordings, I don't know, could I find 5 minutes of funny stuff? I don't know, really. I've got no idea. It's very difficult to sort of, and also what I find funny isn't necessarily what some other people are going to find funny. So it's really, how do I judge what is a good part? Because, you know, I do some silly stories, and, you know, I know what some things I think, oh, I like that, but I don't know who else, if anyone else would. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. So I think that's all the comments now. So thank you, Michelle, Jackie, Emil, Jenny, Rich, Karen, and Claire. So thank you all, you groovy people. And I need to put something inside my body very soon, because I'm hungry. Hungry. It's 7:30, so it's nearly 20 to 8. So I'm thinking I will probably edit this and upload it tomorrow morning. So it will be done, but it just won't be done tonight, because, like I often do, I left it to the end, quite late in the day. But part of that is because, you know, I had a break where I took him out for a walk because of my neighbour knocking, and also I didn't do anything during the day because the kitchen's being put in opposite me, and there's a fair bit of drilling and banging and stuff. So yeah, I've always got an excuse. Oh, I never run out of excuses, me. So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Vinny's woken up straight away. As soon as I say this last bit, it always comes alive. Also, be gentle with yourself, because you do deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. What's he doing? What did I do Sunday? I think I'm probably going to do Sunday news. Sunday newspapers this Sunday coming, so yeah. Anyway, take care, lots of love. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a recording tomorrow. I mean, I've done quite well. I've done Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if I can do tomorrow and Sunday, that's 6 or 8 recordings. If I can do Monday, Tuesday, 10. If I could do Wednesday, it's 11. Because it's Monday, boring objects, Tuesday, trivia Tuesday, and then whisper Wednesday. So that's like 10 days in a row. Wow. Now Vinny's staring at me. Why are you staring at me, Vin? What's going on, baby? What's going on? Okay, take care. Lots of love. My tummy's saying bye as well. Bye. What is it, Vin? What is it, darling? What is it? Look, your dinner's there. Look.